Hi, Miles Red Songbird in New York City. Dwell on Possibilities. I wrote that when I was Emily Dickinson. This is my husband Lucifer with his hand up saying stop, quit, halt, don't come near me, don't enter me, I'm blocking your energy. That's what he's saying. And that's me sitting beside him. I tried to get him to sit up beside me and not be below me, but he couldn't do it, so. And this is Adam. I was Eve. This is Adam. His name is now Michael Bublé. Okay, so I have something to show you. I have some words I'm going to decode for you. It says, Jot Naranja. Jesus, us, ordered, truth, mild, red. I, her, angel, Gabriel. And then Ankar. Ordered, enter, kingdom. A, Eve, the first person on earth. The first mother on earth was A, her. Got that? Ordered, mild red, enter kingdom, A, her. And then Ra, Ran, Car. Her, A, her, and her, A, enter kingdom, A, her. Sohang, Sohang, Satan. There's Satan. Sohang, Satan. Okay, and I also decoded the word. Sun ordered heaven, A, enter, Gurinder, God. Gurinder Singh is Jesus Christ. God on earth. Okay. And then Satnam, I decoded. Satan sat at mild red, enter, man. Satan at mild red, enter, man. Oh, I know how it goes. Satan at entered mild red's man. And my man is my husband. Do I have his name written down here? Michael John Spear is his name. Then Satan, my husband, in a past life, St. Bartholomew, Chris, saved me. This is not this Satan. This is when Satan was in St. Bartholomew, and he went into Lucifer, this Satan. Okay, this Satan, my husband in a past life, St. Bartholomew, Chris, saved me. He talked to me with such sweet compassion, telling me if I went to San Francisco to be with Lucifer, Michael John Spear, I'd wind up homeless again. In next door, a homeless shelter, I saw Lucifer, Michael John Spear, on the elevator. He wouldn't look at me. He wouldn't speak to me. He was cold to me. And St. Bartholomew, from saving me from going back to him, because I was going to go back to him. I didn't know he was Lucifer. He saved me. So he got on a frequency above being Satan. So he's no longer Satan. Okay, and then in San Francisco, in a hotel, the Heartland, I think it was, my legs started shaking. I heard my husband laughing hideously in my head. I looked up, and there he was, standing, peeking at me from the doorway. I said, I know people can get in your head. I'm not afraid of you. Get out of my head. And then the phone confirmed that people can get in your head. I know that because I was standing in the line at Glide Church. By the way, Will Smith was the third son of Adam and Eve, Seth. I was Eve and Michael Bublé was Adam. When we went to Glide Church for homeless, for help without being homeless, because we became homeless because we had a place in Elk Grove, California, and he was bored, so he wanted to move into San Francisco. So we moved to San Francisco. Pretty soon, all of our money was gone, and we were homeless. So somebody told us to go to Glide Church. His psychiatrist, he had told him to go to Glide Church. So we found out Will Smith had been at Glide Church filming a movie. That was my son from the garden when he was Seth and I was Eve. Now, when I was at the women's shelter in New York, Will Smith had just come there 2 weeks before I arrived, and he had taken a picture with the girls, the homeless girls. He's tracking me. My son is looking for me. And I saw him on Jimmy Fallon singing Friend Like Me, and he was so wonderful. I just adore him. I love him. Okay, but yeah, so I was saying that I know people can get in your head. If you go to their frequency, they can get in your head. Just like I went when I was a child. I wanted to know what it felt like to be blind. So I closed my eyes and put my hand up to my eyes and went there. And Stevie Wonder wanted to know what it felt like to see. So you see, he got in my field of energy and left me to go into his field of energy. So I got the mentality of a blind ghetto person, and he got the mentality of the daughter of the sun God. And that's the truth. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you. And like I said, when I was standing in line at Glide Church, people would say when I was homeless there in San Francisco, it happened when I was in line at Glide Church waiting for free food, which you would go to this dungeon, a basement, to eat it. It was, but I was grateful for the food. But back at the shelter next door, I could hear people talking my head. That's what talking heads, yeah. That's why I knew that they were in my head, because they were talking what was my reality. And when I first got to next door, the girls were doing it, about 5 of them. And it blew my mind. I was banging my head against the wall. I didn't know what was going on. And they called the EMS, is that what, the paramedics, to take me to hospital. And when I was in the ambulance, this guy said I was just from New York. He thought I was unconscious. He thought I was crazy in crazy land. And he said, look at her feet, and they're stupid in New York. And I said, what do you talk about my feet? What's the matter with you talking about my feet? What kind of person are you? Because I have abundance. Lucifer actually sucked my abundance. He told me, So anyway, what is my point? Just the hell that I went through was, I didn't know these things existed, but I've had to face them, and fortunately Jesus Christ was my husband, and he's been inside me, behind my pineal gland, guiding me. I didn't know that, but I found out, because he helps me. He's there 24 hours. And he's been there since I was 5 years old, and I realized my heart was beating. I didn't know you called it a heart. It's just something beating in my chest. And I knew if it was beating, it could stop beating, and I got terrified of my heart. So when I was about 23, a voice said to me in my head, I'm going to stop your heart from beating. And I knew it was the voice of God, even though I never heard God's voice before. I just knew. So I just, for a minute, was still. And then I panicked, and I got out of bed, and I ran to the Bible, and whatever I saw in there scared me, and I had a nervous breakdown. And when I was in India, in 1979, the Master, Jesus Christ, talked about how you have to be very careful to remove the delicate fabric from the thorns, the rose bush with the thorns in it, because you could rip it. And so he was saying, I know now he was saying, we have taken you so slowly because we didn't want to blow your mind completely. You went crazy. You went below consciousness when we tried to show you that you don't have to have a heartbeat to live. That was his point. So I wouldn't realize I didn't have to fear my heart. If it stopped beating, so what? I can keep living. That was what he was going to show me. Because the will to live is what makes you live. Not the, So, okay. That's all I'm going to say for now. This is Lucifer, like I said. Michael John Spear. He's in San Francisco. And he wasn't all bad. He was a great master of the Dara. And I was married to him at that time as well. And he was a pedophile. And the master, Charan Singh, Jesus Christ, first and 20th century, was his grandson. And he took him from his mother when he was 5 years old and molested him. And what the masters did, the gurus at the Dara did was groomed me to become free of him so that he could be punished for what he's done. And he had a feast. How'd it go? He had a feast bewildering me for 37 years. Charan Singh had guided me to create talk and share as a therapy that brings you to your senses. So for 37 years I tried talk and share with him to bring him to his senses. And his will was so strong, resisting, that I was able to keep him functioning and working and, not committing suicide or not hurting anyone physically very much. But he resisted becoming cured. And I know that's possible because my daughter, Robin Birdsong, had been Galileo, who they shut up in house arrest for 8 years and went bonkers and suicidal. And I was able to keep her not only functioning, but she's come to her senses where she's wanting to live, and she's wanting to, now she doesn't know she was Galileo. I didn't know she was Galileo. I was just going by my intuition and sensing that I needed to do this talk and show with her. So I did it for hours for both of them, every day, for years. 25 years for Robin, 37 years for Michael. And she's a success story. He's not, because he's Lucifer. And now he's got the Satan, too, because Chris, like I said, rose above it. And he's not Satan anymore. Michael is Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call. He was a Nazi, too. Michael Spear was Albert Speer, the Nazi. And okay, so and what they said is his boon is nobody believe he exists. I was living with him. I was hearing him say about Hitler's power was great. I knew he had been a hypnotist. And Charan Singh made him stop being. He said, you cannot be a hypnotist on the path. So he had him stop being a hypnotist. But, you know, I didn't think he was, because you think Satan has, and Lucifer has horns. You know, he didn't have any horns. He had blonde hair and blue eyes. I think his eyes were blue eyes. Yeah, it was blue eyes. And, you know, he was tall. He was fairly handsome. Well-read, college degree from UC Irvine, and he got a master's degree from NYU. So I didn't know Satan was like that. Lucifer was like that, you know. But that's what it was like. So So I don't know what's going to happen. He's going to become a wildebeest when he dies. So he I don't know. That's their judgment. This is judgment day. And this is the nephew. Jesus Christ, Gurinder Singh, is a nephew of Charan Singh, Salwan Singh's grandson that he molested. So Gurinder Singh got him, because Charan Singh entered Gurinder Singh. I saw it with my own eyes. And so Gurinder Singh is Charan Singh now, in addition to Gurinder Singh. So he has all that power, and he got him. He got Lucifer. He got Satan. And the son told me, where's the son? He told me, he said, you won. And I didn't know what he meant, I won. And then I found out that the meek shall inherit the earth. I won the earth because I was the meekest. And one day we were having a fight, Michael and I. I said, this seems like a battle between good and evil. And that's what he was telling me, the son, that I had won, that good won. You see? So the curse has been lifted. I did a video called The Curse Has Been Lifted. Because good won. So we're no longer under the spell of Lucifer. We just have to keep at a high frequency. And not so high that we go into 5G. Forget about 5G. That will just take your mind. You will lose your consciousness if you attach yourself to 5G. It's artificial intelligence. Do you really want artificial intelligence controlling your mind, controlling your consciousness? I don't think you do. So keep control of it. If you need some help, you can do talk and share. To keep yourself centered. So, you know, you can feel the present moment. Okay, this is what I want to have to say. Isn't this extraordinary stuff? It's amazing to me that we can know this and that God is on our side, as Lord Marcus says, when he says, united we stand, divided we fall. It's a beautiful song. You might want to check it out on YouTube. Lord Marcus, M-A-R-C-U-S. Okay, so long.